Now that Nolan Arenado is gone, the attention turns to Brendan Donovan and whether or not he will be the next to go. This is Locked On Cardinals.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily St. Louis Cardinals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, Cardinals fans. I'm JD Hafron, a former national radio sports anchor, born and raised in St. Louis and a lifetime Cardinals fan. And welcome to another episode of Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. Thank you to our everydayers for continuing to be here with us. And for those of you who are new, welcome in. I hope you enjoy the content. This is a show that serves Cardinal Nation and gives you all the info about the birds on the bat. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. The division round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your Profit Boost pack every NFL playoff game day. On today's show, we've got a look at the MLB news and notes, which included two massive signings. We've got Kyle Tucker to the Dodgers late Thursday night, and now Bichette is heading to the National League as well. That just announced a bit ago. The Cardinals also opened up the International Signing Day with one very big splash. But we start with the latest rumors about Brendan Donovan's future. The three trades that Mo could not get accomplished last season are now done under Chaim Bloom's watch. So this is good. This is the good thing. Sonny and Willie to Boston, Nato to Arizona. The returns on the first two being much better, significantly better than the last one. But that was what was expected, you know? We didn't expect anything different than what we've seen so far. They were able to go get some new arms, some fresh prospects, a couple of guys to help with the roster this year, and unload a lot of money. Now, yeah, they're paying a lot of money right now, but they've also unloaded a lot of money for the future. They've opened up the positions a little bit so that other guys can get more playing time that some of these veterans were blocking. And, I hate seeing the interviews with Nolan Arenado where he's like, and I'm kind of standing in the way of that. And I hate that he had to feel that way, that he was in the way. But we're adults, right? I mean, he kind of was. You're not going to bench Nolan Arenado if he's on your roster. And the Cardinals are heading in a different direction. So those are taken care of. That's good news. The next guy on the roster who could net the team a solid return is Brendan Donovan. Now, we've gone over this a number of times, but the reasons for his trade value are you've got great production, steady production coming from this guy, versatility, his age, contract status, solid player, solid dude, doesn't make a whole lot of money yet, and will be under control for 2 years. These are things that other teams will find attractive, teams who think they can compete for a championship this year against the Dodgers are looking at Donnie as a solid piece to the puzzle to try to do that. Whether those thoughts have changed now that the Dodgers have signed Kyle Tucker remains to be seen, but you can't win unless you try, bottom line. And from the reports, there are still a few teams contemplating on whether or not to swing a deal with the Cardinals for Brendan Donovan. Now, we hadn't heard much about the Mets being involved in this with the Donnie talk, so their signing of Bichette today doesn't really alter this list at all, but now that Bichette is off the market, if these teams were interested in him, they're now more likely to be more interested in Brendan Donovan, and because if they were holding out hope to get Bichette, that's no longer an option for them, so now you drop down and go, all right, who's next? Who else would we want to grab? And Brendan Donovan's going to be near the top of the list for a lot of people. First team we want to talk about is the Seattle Mariners. Almost made it to the World Series last year, seemingly have the pitching and the offense to get there again this year. I got a lot of confidence in Seattle. I think they're a great squad, but they've got a couple holes at second and third base. They have one of the best farm systems in baseball. So giving up premium talent to sacrifice some premium talent, it wouldn't hurt them as much as it would hurt other organizations. If they think Donnie can be the guy to help get them over the hump in the American League and get them to the series to be able to be better than the Toronto Blue Jays, I don't know why you would not do that. The only thought is that if they don't believe in Brendan Donovan, then they're more than likely like, okay, well, we'll find something else. We're not really sold on him. There's also been some chatter to kind of help complete a deal that maybe Brendan Donovan paired up with a Lars Nootbaar or a Jojo Romero, sweeten the pot a little bit, would help facilitate a deal to Seattle. So I'm more than happy to sacrifice Lars Nootbaar. I love the dude, but he never became the guy that I think the Cardinals hoped he was going to be. I still dig Jojo Romero, but he's going to be a free agent. And if you can go get a prospect that you're really targeting from the Seattle Mariners, one or even two of them, then if you got to throw that guy in there, so be it. San Francisco Giants, not nearly as close to a World Series caliber team as Seattle in my mind, competing in the West against the Dodgers as well as the Padres. But they got Buster Posey in charge. He wasn't afraid to swing a deal last year to go get Rafael Devers from the Boston Red Sox. Their farm system not nearly as good as Seattle's, which is a bummer, but they are a team that has been in on Donnie, reportedly in on Donnie as well as the Cubs' Nico Horner. But with Tucker bolting to LA, maybe they pull him back from trade talks, talking about Horner with the Cubs. I still find it crazy that they would even trade the guy. I'm locking that dude up if he's on my team. Kansas City Royals made a few moves this offseason already. Got a solid young team, some pitching depth to deal away from. And, if you thinking about the future with Kansas City, you could have an infield this year if you made a deal with the Cardinals of Maikel Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Brendan Donovan, and then Vinny Pasquantino and Salvi Perez over at first base. That's pretty good. Donnie would be an upgrade both offensively and defensively over what they had there last year, which was Cardinal killer Jonathan India, who literally could be hitting under 100 against the rest of the league, but would still destroy the Cardinals in any series that he plays against them. The mother trucker is hitting a slash line of 318, 417, 533 with 11 home runs and 27 RBIs and an OPS of 949 in 58 games against the Cardinals. It is absurd. He genuinely turns into Hank Aaron when he comes up to the plate against the Cardinals. It is unbelievable. Then we've got the Boston Red Sox, who, as you know, have swung two deals already with Chaim Bloom and the Cardinals, and now they've lost out on Alex Bregman. He goes to the Cubs. The team pivoted and signed Ranger Suarez to a 5-year, $130 million deal, but still have question marks at second and third base. They've got young guys that they can plug in there if they want to, but does that seem like the Boston thing to do, to just be like, we're good? Well, we'll just let Marcelo Mayer and Romy Gonzalez. Well, they're fine. They'll take it. No, you imagine that they're going to try to upgrade at one of those spots. So will they go after Eugenio Suarez, who's still out there? Possibly. I feel like he would have a lot of fun with the Green Monster. Or do they go after another deal with the Cardinals to get Donnie? Now, Steve Phillips was on MLB Network discussing Boston's next move, and he thinks that, or thought that Bichette was probably off their radar because of the money already. So we know that's not happening. He's gone to the New York Mets now. And he said that they could put together a package, talking about Boston, that they could put together a package that includes Brian Bayo or another young starting pitcher to try to get Brendan Donovan in return. Bayo is going to turn 27 this year. He's under contract till 2029 with a club option for 2030 after signing a 6-year, $55 million deal with Boston in 2024. Those are relatively great numbers. Like, he's never, on his current contract, he's never set to make over $20 million, which is, how expensive it is to get pitching these days. That's pretty good. And Boston's got a lot of guys right now. You got Crochet, Suarez, who they just signed, Sonny Gray, obviously, Houck, Cutter Crawford, Patrick Sandoval. They've got their prospects, and Kyle Harrison, who came over from the Giants in the Devers deal, Connolly Early, who made a huge splash for them last year, Peyton Tolley, who's their number 2 ranked prospect and number 2 ranked left-hander overall by MLB Pipeline. That's a lot of depth in the starting rotation to work with to put together a deal to try to get Brendan Donovan from the Cardinals. So I know that fans are sick of dealing with Boston. They're like, dude, trades with somebody else because you're bored. You're tired of hearing it. But Boston's got the goods that the Cardinals have been looking for. It just fits. It makes sense. I know you'd rather deal with Seattle because you want to see some fresh blood from another team come in. I get it. I'm there with you. But you can see how Boston and St. Louis matches up in another deal for Brendan Donovan. I'd still like to see what Seattle is willing to offer. Wouldn't hurt to get some offensive prospects at some point. Am I right? Everybody were like, okay, arms. Yes, bring all the pitching that you can possibly get, but I could use a little offense too. Like, and I know the 26 team right now, it doesn't have like the offense is. It's pretty stale right now. Like you're going to need some guys to really step up this year to score some runs because losing, and I know Arenado wasn't as good as we wanted him to be, but first half of the season, he wasn't bad. Obviously, Wilson Contreras was a big bopper in the middle of that order too. He's gone. Who's filling in those spots? Who's going to step up? Is it Jordan Walker? Is it Nolan Gorman? Do you trust those guys to do that? So obviously some questions offensively, but I wouldn't mind having a little more offensive talent in the minor leagues to be ready to come up to St. Louis at some point in the next year or two to kind of fill the void there. So I know that there's a lot of fans that are hoping to hang on to Donnie. I'm one of them. I don't really mind if they hang on to him. I understand why they're trying to trade him. I'd love to extend him and have him playing second or third or left field and teaching these young guys how to be the best Cardinal they can be. But if Heim gets a deal that he can't refuse, then so be it. Kind of got to do it, looking the way that all these other teams are spending right now and the Cardinals are going in the other direction. It's a pretty good time to rebuild because you weren't going to be competing with these teams anyway, even if you tried to spend money. So the international signing period, which is very important. The international market is going to be huge for the Cardinals during this rebuild. That began on Thursday, and the Cardinals got one of the top 10 available prospects. We're going to talk about that next on Locked On Cardinals. The division round is here, and FanDuel is officially in playoff mode every game day. During the NFL playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action. Right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. So each day, what you do is you open up the app, you'll see a pack loaded with these multiple profit boosts that you can apply to bets that you like the most. You choose the bets, and then you add the boost to them. Saturday's games, Bills at the Broncos. I got Denver in that one. 49ers at the Seahawks. I trust the Seahawks defense to be victorious there. On Sunday, Texans at the Patriots. I'm going to roll with the Patriots. I got family members who are from the Boston area, so I'm going to go ahead and root for them in this one, but that Texans defense is no joke. And then Rams at the Bears, going to be a frigid one at Soldier Field. I would love to see the Rams upset Chicago, being a Packers fan after they came back and whooped us. So, but they should be great games. Every game should be awesome. So open up your profit boost pack first thing on game day and see what boost you want to apply. Every play will feel bigger. The boost will make your bets feel bigger. That it's going to be a lot of fun. It makes everything a little more interesting and a chance to win even more. So you make your picks, you apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs are rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Thanks again for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Big thank you to all of you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Why not take it up to the next level? Go ad-free, right? How many people get into my comments section and are like, ads? You don't have to. You don't have to. Join the Everydayer Club and get Locked On Cardinals with no interruptions. Members-only Discord access, which is going to get you access to an ad-free audio feed for Locked On Cardinals, compatible with your Apple Podcast, Spotify, every other major podcast app. Invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat just for listeners of this particular show. The hosts come in, and we get in there, and we chit-chat with fans and stuff of the Cardinals. So stop on by, all for just $5 a month. Pretty easy. Go to lockedonstlcardinals.supercast.com or check the link in the show notes to learn more. International signing period is underway. Began on Thursday. First day is always super busy with kids signing left and right. When I say kids, these are kids, man. These guys are 16, 17, 18 years old. They're children. They're high school kids. But they start signing all over the place. And during the season, you kind of saw, or I should say the offseason, you start seeing names that trickle out. They're like, all right, they're going to be signing with this team and that team. The Cardinals were in a good spot this year. The Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Orioles, Guardians, Rockies, Royals, and Pirates were all tied for the largest international bonus pools for 26 at just over $8 million. And they used that to their benefit to sign one of the top 10 prospects available, according to MLB Pipeline. First time they've been able to do this in he's 17 years old. 17-year-old power hitting outfielder Emanuel Luna turned 17 on Thursday, actually, so happy birthday to you. According to Jesse Borek at MLB.com, this is the first time since MLB Pipeline began ranking the international prospects in 2012 that the Cardinals have actually landed a member of the top 10. It's been a long time. Why? Why, I ask you? I don't know. I don't know why the Cardinals are dipping into the international waters and finding studs, young studs that, seem to come up and are able to make a huge difference for their teams at early ages. Usually they're getting up here at 21, 22 years old. So Luna comes in at number 8. And yeah, every time I say his name, I want to say Luna, like Ludacris, but I'll try to refrain from doing that. Comes in at number 8 in their top 50. He's out of Santo Domingo, which is also, the place that's produced guys like, Albert Pujols, Juan Soto, Marcelo Ozuna, Ellie De La Cruz, Manny Machado. I think Juan Marichel's from there too. Among they got a lot of talent. Let's just be honest. A lot of talent coming out of there. $2.3 million signing bonus to get Luna to come to the Cardinals, which is fine by me. Borek had this to say about the young slugger. Says, few hitters in this year's class can match Luna's advanced feel for hitting or strike zone recognition. Combine that with his plus raw power and chiseled up 6'2" physique, and it's easy to understand the excitement behind his offensive profile. Luna is built like a running back, using his strides to cover ground in the outfield and put pressure on the defense while on the base paths. He'll get the chance to prove himself in center field as he enters the pro ranks, but even if he has to move to a corner spot, he has legitimate 2020 potential at the big league level if everything comes together. Now, back in November, our buddy Thomas Govain from RedbirdRants.com wrote a little piece about him where, he mentioned that he was given the name the Dominican Aaron Judge. Now, 6'2" is not Aaron Judge 6'7". We know that, but it had to do with the raw power that this youngster possesses. It's very intriguing. I was watching tape on him yesterday, and he was hitting jacks. Yeah, it's batting practice. I get it. But it's still, when you see a swing that looks as effortless as his does, and yet the ball is just popping, like just thump, it's impressive. It's very impressive. So if you haven't seen it, I did retweet it out on X, which I know was acting a little funky today, but you can go see that now if you want to. But great. Top 10 guy in the international class coming to the Cardinals, age 17. We look forward to watching him progress over the future. So Emanuel Luna, welcome to the Cardinals. The next bigger signing was 17-year-old infielder Carlos Carrion for $1.1 million. Switch hitter with speed, is said to be really good with the glove. He's 6 foot 165 right now. Again, these are kids, so don't look at that and go, oh, well, yeah, he's 17 years old. Lanky is the word that I've seen in a lot of descriptions about him. Certainly room to grow out and fill out as he gets older. Borek says this about him, that his ability to spray the ball to all fields that has evaluators excited about his upside. I love the switch hitting aspect of it. You don't see a lot of that anymore. So pretty cool. They got a pair of what Borek calls high upside right-handers from the Dominican Republic, and Rafael Moranta for $450K, and Jordan Beltran, $250K, which is a great name, by the way, Jordan Beltran. That sounds like a stud. All in all, they announced that they have signed 4 pitchers, 5 outfielders, 2 infielders, and 1 catcher. And speaking of catchers, one of their most recent international signings, catcher Reinel Rodriguez, has been ranked as the 3rd best catching prospect in baseball heading into the 26th season, according to MLB Pipeline. He is behind the Orioles' Samuel Basallo and the Royals' Carter Jensen. Now, they gave Rodriguez, you know how they do the different tools, and they give you a rating, 65 power tool. Remember, that's from a grade scale of 20 to 80, 20 being bad, 80 good. 65 power tool rating, which is actually tied with Basallo from the Orioles, which is a big deal because they love that dude. They are absolutely infatuated with that guy. They adore him. everything about him, he's superstar on the way. Came up to the big leagues last year. They're going to see him again this year. It's one of the reasons why you saw Adley Rushman's name being kicked around as trade bait in the offseason. So he's somebody that they are very impressed with. And right now, Rodriguez, to be mentioned right there with him is pretty cool. An exciting offensive talent who probably should reach at least Double-A this year at some point this season. Leonardo Bernal ahead of him in the rankings for the Cardinals. I shouldn't say rankings, but like as far as the depth chart goes, Bernal's ahead of him. Jimmy Crooks is ahead of him. You've still got Pages. You've got Ivan Herrera figuring out if he's going to be a catcher still. Joel Pozo is still in the organization as well. So there's a lot of catching depth there. So it really kind of depends on what Ivan Herrera is going to be. Is he really going to be a catcher this year? Is he going to play left field? Is he going to play first base? I say yes to all of that. He's going to DH some, of course, but you got to find other places to put him. You need a right-handed bat that can play in the outfield as well. And if Ivan can pull that off in left field, yes, more power to you, because that's the one thing where I'm looking at the roster right now, minus Wilson, minus Arenado. You're down two very big right-handed bats right now. You're very lefty heavy, and you kind of need something. So we'll see what they end up doing. Is it Jose Fermin? Thomas Ujasi getting more reps is certainly a possibility. So we'll see how they work that out as we go towards spring training. MLB news and notes are coming up next. Kyle Tucker and the Dodgers. Another obnoxious contract has happened. Bo Bichette to the Mets. We'll talk about it coming up next on Locked On Cardinals. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. The Dodgers did it again, man. I can't say that I'm shocked by this stuff anymore, but Kyle Tucker, one of the most sought-after free agents in this year's class, has jumped from the Chicago Cubs, which is great, to the Dodgers. And he's signing a 4-year, $240 million deal with them to be the next mercenary for Los Angeles. Everydayers know I am not a mathematician, but even I can do that division. That is 60 million AAV, folks. 60 million per. The club has not confirmed the deal, which reportedly includes an opt-out after the second and third years, $64 million signing bonuses, $30 million deferred. There's that D word again. Turned down a qualifying offer from the Cubs, meaning they will receive a compensatory draft pick. The Dodgers will be losing their third and sixth highest selections in the upcoming draft after already losing their second and fifth highest picks, and $1 million from their international bonus pool as a penalty for signing Edwin Diaz already this year. But who cares? Who cares? If you're the Dodgers, draft picks, who cares? I don't care about that. Why would I care about a draft pick when I can just buy the best talent anytime I want to? Easy decision to make. Tucker has battled injuries the last couple seasons, which has limited him to 214 games out of a possible 324. Last year, second half, he was dealing with a finger injury, and he was not good. 231 average, 5 home runs, 17 ribbies in the second half. He was terrible, which go ask a Cubs fan if you know any of them. That was infuriating them. They were like, dude, what the hell is this? What is going on here? PCA can't hit. Tucker can't hit. What is happening? And they really didn't get going again until they met up with the Cardinals at the end of the season, and that got their offense kicked back into gear. But over his career, Kyle Tucker's been very good, right? 4-time All-Star, 2-time Silver Slugger, won a Gold Glove, won a title with the 2022 Houston Astros when they beat the Phillies, who were the team that upset the Cardinals and unknowingly ended the Cardinals' ability to remain an annual contender in the National League. We didn't know it at the time, but they did. They kicked the dirt on us and buried us. So it's stupid. It's lame. It's awful. I get it. But this is where we are in Major League Baseball. You know, the Dodgers can outbid anyone they want, whenever they want. They don't care. They apparently outbid the Mets, who were at 4 years, $220 million. And I saw Mets fans whining and complaining. And how do you complain? You're right there with them as far as money-wise. And the Mets immediately pivoted. Tucker, no? Okay. They go and give Bo Bichette 3 years and $126 million, which is an AAV of $42 million per. So stop your belly aching. I don't want to hear it. I don't feel bad for you. I don't feel bad for the Blue Jays or the Phillies, who also have ridiculous payrolls themselves. Shut up. We don't feel sorry for you in the slightest. Now, imagine what will happen. Here was what I was talking with some Dodgers fans, friends of mine that are Dodgers fans. And I was like, dude, who else can they go get that would just infuriate everybody? Immediately, the name Tarek Skubal popped up. Can you imagine if the Dodgers are like, all right, let's really just nuke this whole thing? What do you want for Skubal? We will give you our top 5 prospects and send them to Detroit to get Tarek Skubal. Or they just wait and sign him in the offseason because they don't need him anyway. Imagine the uproar that would take place. Again, I don't like it. I wish there was a cap like in the NFL so that there's more skill involved in putting together a winning club and a winning roster instead of just outspending everyone. I don't feel like that takes a lot of talent. I think it's funny when, you watch MLB Network and stuff, and they're like, what a great move to go get this guy. Well, how difficult is that move? Like, what do you mean? Like, they didn't find somebody for $450K who ended up turning into a superstar. No, they just outspent everybody else to go get the top guys on the market. Like, how is that a difficult job to go shopping and go, hey, yeah, he's really good. I'll just go buy him. It's funny how they word it that way. They're like, what an outstanding pickup. No, shut up. No, it's not. It's very easy to go do that. But on the same side, I also wish there was a floor that forces the rich owners to spend their money instead of sitting on their profits. That's the other issue that's going on. The NFL is a lot of fun because each year it's the parity, right? Each year teams rise, they fall. Good organizations can sustain long-term success the way like the Kansas City Chiefs have been able to do it for the last decade. The Patriots before that, while the poorly run teams like, for instance, the New York Jets continue to wallow in misery. They can't get out of their own way. Baseball teams are similar, where even the smaller market teams, guys that, like Cleveland, Milwaukee, they continue to churn out winning teams. They haven't won any championships, but they continue to churn out winning teams on a regular basis and are at least in the mix. While some big market teams continue to flounder. The Mets. What are the Mets won recently? What about the Angels? The Angels are in LA. Monster market. Can't seem to figure it out, right? So it sucks. I get it. And you can be frustrated, but I love the fact that the Cardinals are going in the direction they're doing right now. They're like, dude, we're not overspending to try to even compete with what the hell's going on right now. We're going to tear this sucker down. We're going to build internally. And then when the CBA thing gets figured out after 26, hopefully not a long lockout. I assume there will be a lockout, but I hope it's not super long. And hopefully it's, kind of like the last one they had where, they pushed opening day back a week and then we're back on the field. But I hope it works out that way. I don't know if it will, but Tucker is not a Cub anymore. So I'm curious who they'll react or how they'll react, like Chicago, what they're going to do. Bo Bichette to the Mets now. Cody Bellinger immediately becomes the number one name that has been kicked around whether he could return to Chicago. The Yankees have been in on him. Who else is going after Bellinger? The Mets. Are the Mets still in on Bellinger? They don't care about money either. They can go buy whoever they want. So Eugenio Suarez, still a bat that's out there. But it's very clear at this point that once again, barring something crazy, everyone in the National League will be chasing LA again come October. Winter warm-up this weekend. Curious what the turnout is going to be for this one. If you go look at the listing of autograph sessions, a lot of sellouts as far as the free ones go. There's a few sellouts in the pay portion of it, but there's going to be a lot of the young talent that we've been talking about on this show there. And I encourage you, if you have the means and the time, to go there and meet these guys. JJ Weatherholt will be there. Liam Doyle, Joshua Baez, Leonardo Bernal, Quinn Matthews, Bryson Motts. These are guys that are the building blocks of the St. Louis Cardinals' future. Go talk to them before they blow up, all right? Before they become the guys that you have to pay a lot of money to go talk to. Like, go see them. I know a couple of their autograph sessions are sold out, but I'm sure they'll be on a microphone at some point getting interviewed. You got the active guys, Mason Wynn, Ivan Herrera, Burleson, Jordan Walker, Victor Scott, Libby, McGreevy. They're all going to be there. New guys, Hunter Dobbins, Richard Fitz, Dustin May, Ryan Stanek, Ozzie, Bernard Gilkey, David Eckstein, Todd Worrell, So Taguchi going to be in attendance as well. So if you can, get to the winter warm-up, have some fun, enjoy it for what it is, okay? Take the kids, meet MLB stars. It's fun. It's fun. I've had a great time every year I've been able to go. I can't go this year because of work commitments that I've already got, which sucks because I always like going. Took my mom there a couple years ago and we had a blast. But if you get a chance, go check it out. Okay. I hope you enjoy it. If you're going, bundle up. It's supposed to be mighty chilly this weekend in the Lou, obviously. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen every day. If you haven't already, give us a follow on X at LO_Cardinals and at JD Sports Radio. You can find us on TikTok. We're on Instagram at Locked On Cardinals. Like, subscribe on YouTube. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club, seriously, it's built for you. Get Locked On Cardinals ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and more at LockedOnSTL, Cardinals.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure that your second listen is Locked On MLB. My guy Sully is hosting over there. You're the best fans in baseball for a reason. We'll see you next time on Locked On Cardinals.